Hello and welcome to Coffee with Jenny B. It's conversations over coffee. It's about community connections, what brings me joy, and everything in between. I'm your host, Jenny Sacco-Bak. When it comes to social media, I think most of us do an okay job. Now, by okay, I mean we post every so often. Sometimes we forget to post and then we're trying to catch up. And depending on who you talk to, about the algorithms, which I really don't understand, and about, when you should be posting, and do you post once a day, and is it okay to post 4 times? I'm not sure. But sometimes you do what you need to do just to get the information out there. And when it comes to photography, I'm the worst at trying to fit a photo into those little squares on Instagram and have the photo truly represent what I wanted. Most of the time, the head's cut off or something's missing. So it can be a bit of a challenge for those that are, let me just say, inept at social media. Fortunately, my guest today is someone who is very good at both photography and social media. Her name is Janelle Malkiewicz. She is a photographer and a social media content manager. Please help me welcome Janelle. Hey, Janelle.
Hi, that was such a nice intro. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Thank you. And, absolutely, social media. I mean, I know a little to be dangerous, but when it comes to actually getting someone such as yourself, a professional, both in photography and social media management, it can help us, first of all, help us guide to where we want to go, and maybe even helping us to determine what exactly do we want to get from social media.
Yeah. I always think having a clear objective or goal when you come in to work with me or with anyone or just do it yourself is key, because otherwise it's like you said, the algorithm is just easy to get really lost and overwhelmed. So having that guiding star is always crucial.
Now, here's a question for you. Sometimes I think that it's really the photo. So I really want to highlight the photo and then talk about the content that goes with it. But is it the photo first, or is it the purpose of why you want to put that photo?
I think it can be both. I think it can be a photo. Sometimes Instagram started just to post photos. Like, I just posted photos because I love taking them, and that's how we'll talk about that, but that's how I got started. And so I think that's lost because now there's so much intentionality, which is good, but we lost the creative side, I think, along the way, or just the fun part of it sometimes. So I would say lead with your heart on that one. And if you just want to post a photo to post a photo sometimes, I think that's okay too.
That's okay?
Yeah.
You mentioned Instagram. I remember Facebook, and Facebook in the early days was we would post and say, I ate lunch today, or,
The worst thing Facebook ever did was launch Facebook Memories, because I look back at my grade 9 Facebook statuses and I'm like, who let this chick online? This is awful. And it was my parents were strict on it. It took a lot of adults they trusted convincing them to allow me on it. For me to have it in the first place, but still I'm like, holy moly, that is, it was a free-for-all.
Well, and some, they say that, info is great, but too much can be too much. And I look at people sometimes and they post all the things that they've done that day. I washed the floor and I did the laundry and then went grocery shopping, and it's like, okay.
I think it depends on, that's where your audience comes in, because it's funny, there are TikTok or Instagram presence influencers that that's what they do. They post their day in the life or them cleaning their house, and I find myself watching this because it's the way they edit, it's very satisfying to watch.
Okay.
And it's it's an art, I will say. And I'm like, and I say to my husband, I've sat here watching other people clean their house. I need to go clean my house. This is insane. So it's, there's something for everyone online, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, I look at it as either education or entertainment, and sometimes it can be both, right? I mean, your example of somebody cleaning the house, maybe they're using a method that you're like, oh, hey, I never thought of doing that.
A good cleaning hack?
Yeah.
Please.
They're everywhere.
Yes.
I do have to mention that when I see somebody posting some information either on TikTok or YouTube or I don't know, whatever, and then they give you this thumb, it's like, really? Why are you doing that?
Yeah, it's wild how, like you just mentioned, like we started on Facebook. I don't even remember the exact year, but I think I was in grade 8. So it was 2008 when I like got on Instagram. I remember I was like social media raised me. Like I was in grade 11, grade 12 when Instagram took off, and it still is a wild ride. It really is.
Well, it is because, again, the algorithm, it changes all the time. And for most of us, we have no idea what we're doing. We're just throwing stuff out there and hope it, sticks.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your role as a social media content manager, it changes for you as well. And so do you find sometimes it's hard to know what direction it's going in or how things are changing?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the client. So, some people just come to me and they say like, I need to be on this, or I started an account and I don't have the time, patience, skill set to do it. Can you just take it? But they also don't necessarily want to think about it. They just want me to think about it, but they are still their brand and their business. So it's not always, at least for me, it's not always that simple. Maybe other people could just take it and run with it. That's not my style personally, but I will say like when a client comes to me with like a clear goal in mind, like they want growth, they want to educate their audience, they want to be seen as a professional or an expert in their field, like that really like makes my work like easily cut out for me and I can like run with that. So you get a little bit of everything. You get a little bit of all types of different goals and desires when it comes to what people want in their social media presence.
Do you ever try to gently steer someone away from what they're doing
Yes.
and yeah? Okay,
Yeah.
so two-part, gently steer them, and do they listen to you?
Again, not always, because sometimes usually the way I want to gently steer them is for them to be more the face, like I'm about like the story behind a business, like how did we get here that you opened this business and why, and I think that resonates with people. I think that part of a brand is what people can relate to. And so, but that requires a vulnerability from the business owner, so it's hard. And there's clients I still have, I'm like, okay, let's just one little video, like thanking for 15 years in business, like just something to put yourself out there. And it's hard. It's so hard. I was actually at a panel last night talking about people in product marketing industry, and they were talking about that, like to be the face of, and some of the people that were there were, they're prominent Winnipeg, but also nationwide in their brand and their product. And they said like there's Reddit threads about us that are awful. So it's just like, it's like, it can be amazing, but it can be scary.
Yeah.
And you're not always guaranteed to have the trolls, but like, it's always a risk. And it's hard. It's hard. There's so many facets to it. It's so hard.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. I have a story to share about my experience with having someone manage my social media content. And that was when I was really all about coffee. So, it's Coffee with Jenny B.
Yep.
But, a number of years ago, it was all about coffee versus just conversation and community and so on. And so I had a company handle my social media for me. And it was a young girl. And I'm like, age doesn't really matter as long as they understand what you're all about. And she did not get me at all. And when she would create the posts, send them to me to review, and I ended up having to edit all of it. I'm like, okay, why am I paying somebody to do it? Obviously, I know what I need to do.
Yeah,
but
that's interesting.
But there was that disconnect between having a conversation with me and saying, okay, so what is it that you want to do, and then her having to go and do a little bit of research, to get that information. I found that she was providing information, but it was not complete.
Okay.
And so there was, again, that disconnect. So again, when you're working with someone who is the social media manager and you try to, it's their brand and, be authentic and so on.
Yeah.
So what steps do you follow then to make sure that you are speaking for them and representing their brand?
It's like looking at what they've done so far. So like, again, you can figure out the intentionality based on that. And just research, like you said, like digging into their website, reading the About Us, like really well, like really understanding. And also the people that approach me see what I've done and then they like my style.
Okay.
And I think they know what to expect when it comes to working with me. So those are the things, like luckily that exists. And then also like I said, I make sure I really understand and know the voice and what we're trying to, and then there's always the client that gives me the feedback, and then you get into a groove, you figure it out, they give you certain changes, and then you just know ideally that like you just need to like keep on that trend, and then once you've earned that trust that you know, not that you know what you're doing, but that you respect them and their business and where they're at, that's when you can start to say, hey, let's try this, like, and things can happen. It takes time. I don't think, again, this is my experience, but I don't think it's just like you sign on and like, you know, you're viral and I get you 100,000 views. Like it's still a growth model, especially because I'm not following you or your business around all day, every day.
Right.
Like I count on the collaboration of either you send me the raw content and I make it beautiful and feed worthy, or we schedule times that I come and film the intentional kind of content. And so it's a lot of moving parts, and it's good that we're talking about it, because I think people think that they can just outsource it and then just not think about it anymore. But if anything, you're going to think about it a bit more than you have been, or maybe want to. But then again, you get into a groove. Like I have a client now, I make the post, I send them, she approves. Like very rarely do I get feedback, and it's easy. It's easy. Like, so it's great. Yeah.
It's easy, but it wasn't easy at the beginning.
No.
It takes some time, and I think communication can be really key, because it's well, first of all, it's they chose you because they looked at your work and they feel comfortable with you, and it's like, okay, I like your style, and that's the direction that I want to go in. And then you having to communicate with them and say, okay, so what are your intentions? What are your goals? What do you hope to achieve? And even maybe sometimes giving that little bit of a reality check, because they say, well, I want 10,000 followers by next month.
Yeah.
Okay, not going to happen.
It could, but we're going to work really hard. Exactly. Yeah. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. And the other thing I said this to my husband, and we work collaboratively in this together. I said, I kind of have this like unintentional, like, see what sticks method. Like you kind of try things for a while, and there's certain accounts we have that like these certain types of posts do really well every time. And so it's like, okay, so let's like feed into that and keep nurturing that type of content, and we can still have the other stuff that we know does fine, but you start to see the patterns, and that's the part of it I love. Like I love when I start seeing patterns, I start seeing what's working. You know, you talk about the algorithm, you talk about reels, you have to have a hook and a thing and a visual hook and all these like words that stress people out, and you do, and you can, and that can apply to everyone, but there's just some things that work really well with this account. And I'm like, okay, let's just keep riding that wave for a while. And so it's fun. I love the game of it.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah, and people don't. Like you talk about the algorithm, it's just a game. There's rules that you have to play by, but people don't want to, and I don't blame them.
Well, I guess as long as you understand the rules, and even, I mean, they say that, you know, sometimes rules have to be broken. And so again, it's, you know, try it and see what sticks, you know. So if you're constantly posting at this time, maybe try a different time and see, maybe it's a different audience. You know, it just really depends, I guess, what your purpose is.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, like I said, it's fun. It's been fun.
Good. Well, not everybody thinks social media is fun. You know, I try to, so I really like LinkedIn. I mean, yes, I like Instagram and so on. I'm not so busy on Facebook, but LinkedIn is, I find, because it used to be just business and, you know, looking for a job and so on. And now it's a little bit of everything. It's almost like the grown-up version of Facebook, if you will.
I've always thought about it like that. Yeah. Yeah.
And I try to post, so for instance, when I finished a class and I've got the class photo and I post, you know, hey, just finished this class and blah, 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 blah. And then I post it, and I typically try to do that either the day or the day after I've done that. But I haven't posted anything about classes since last August.
Okay.
But now, is it too late? Can I go back and say...
It's never too late.
Never too late?
I don't think so. I don't think it's like I'm thinking about that right now, and we'll talk about, like I just left a full-time job, and it's been 3 weeks, and I've been busy and doing meeting, because people are like, oh, let's have coffee and I want to hear what you're up to now, and we won't, like, they want to connect, and I have time, and I've done all these really fun things in the last few weeks, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm my own worst social media manager. I think like an accountant is always the last one to do their taxes. Is
Yep.
what my husband and I joke. Like we are the last ones to make our own content. And so, and so I know I'm going to go, and probably LinkedIn will be one of the places I post about, this is what I've been up to in the last few weeks. And you share the stories and the lessons and the takeaways. And I think that's fabulous. And I think you can just own it. It's fine.
Yeah, and I think in just thinking about what I'm talking about now is that we get so hung up on, well, what are people going to think? You know, what do you mean she hasn't posted since last August? You know, it's November.
But also not that many people notice.
No, you're right.
Not on LinkedIn. Like, and honestly, probably not like, because you are active in other ways, so people know you're busy. It's okay. Like it's okay. It's all okay. And that's the thing. But these things add. Unfortunately, little things like that, timing and am I too late, it adds stressors to people's lives. And so I also like to be able to be like, okay, like, it's okay. We're all okay. Like, it's not, we're not curing cancer here. So it's like, it's all good. And so if we just have fun with it and just be authentic and true, and you always are online. And so, yeah.
Yeah, just go with it.
Post those classes.
Got it.
Okay.
Will do. Now, when it comes to photography, because I mentioned that in my preamble, that, sometimes, I have a photo and I'm trying to fix it. And so I'll go into Canva and it doesn't matter what I do, I end up making it worse. And then it's like, okay, I'm not going to post that and I'll do something else. So when it comes to photography, in addition to your role as a social media content manager, do you offer that option as well? Yeah.
And then, and so that's like an add-on, and I always recommend it if we can. But then I have clients, I always make sure I have like the best iPhone that's available when I have to renew. So, I mean, I know there's always a new iPhone, but I have the 16 Pro, so it's a good one. And I've taught myself to take a decent photo with my phone, edit it. I don't use Canva for editing photos. I use Lightroom mobile. Hot tip. But, and so I know what to do. I know, and that's because of years of like a decade of photography under my belt. So that's become easy, but I don't always whip out my camera for everything. Because it's just added time. And phones they can't do everything, but they can do a really good job.
Yeah, and in a pinch, I mean, if you're setting up a photo shoot, which you've done, in terms of like families or couples or weddings and so on, then of course you need to have proper equipment and so on. Yeah,
lighting, time, setting, all of you have to think about all these things. And so if I'm just going in to meet a client and I'm going to snap a few photos that'll be like used with like text overlay, I don't think it needs to be like a perfect, pristine DSLR shot. Like, maybe people are screaming and thinking they disagree with me, but that's how I feel. So I just, I'm lucky though. I know I can take a decent phone photo and I can take a decent camera photo. And so I'm able to pick and choose.
Okay. Yeah. Well, it's nice to have that option.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
How did you get started in photography?
This is my favorite story. So I was 17 and my parents bought me like a Nikon intro camera kit from Costco. That was my birthday present. And I just took photos of everything and like flowers, like really close up and like, whatever. And then I went to a really small high school, really small independent school. And there was a guy in my class and we'd gone through high school together. We weren't like overly close and he had the same camera. And we just became like fast friends over cameras. And we would go like spend our weekends, like we'd walk from like the Forks down Broadway and we'd just take pictures of everything. And he was like, I always tell him like I owe all of my success to him because he didn't pursue photography. Like he like had fun with it. He liked to research editing styles and things, and then he would teach them to me, and then like I just got to like piggyback off his knowledge, which I fully admit to, but he really springboarded that knowledge, passion, and this thing that I just found that I love to do. And then I remember my cousin's wife said, Janelle, we want family photos, and I was like, she's like, what would you charge? And I was like, oh my God, like
no,
what do you mean? Like, and I remember I said like $90. Like, I was like, who's going to pay me $90 for family? Like, I thought that was so outrageous. And she did. I remember like, she because it was like she was my cousin's wife. We drove, like we lived near each other. I think must have driven to the photo shoot together. And in the car, like she pulls up in front of my parents' house and she's like, "Okay, here's 90 and here's a $10 tip." And I was like, I said to my mom, she paid me $100. And like, it's just so funny, right? And now like you can't even get a mini session for that amount.
No.
I certainly wouldn't charge for that amount for a mini session. But it's just, and that was it. And then people saw it, and thanks to Instagram, and I posted my photos there I had like some logo at the time that a friend helped me make. And it was just like, that's how it started. And here I am now.
And here you are now. But I love how it starts organically. It's not that, okay, so I want to be a photographer and this is what I need to do and I need to buy all the expensive equipment.
That wasn't a real job. Like I never.
No, you had fun. Yeah. And then it ended up being something, it's like, oh, hey, right?
And I will say, unfortunately, like it became a job. And so like I rarely take photos for fun anymore, especially with my camera.
Okay.
And I remember when my son was born, it was COVID, and people said, well, you're going to take like excellent newborn photos of your child. And I was like, I actually didn't. Like I didn't even think to pull out my own like it's kind of weird. I'm sad to say, but I still love doing it for other people. And I'm very passionate. I know I have the content side, but I'm very passionate about family photos. I think life's very short. I think like very short. And I think anytime you can get your family together and take some photos, especially intergenerational, I'm so happy to do that for people. I just charge more than $100 now, but
that's okay. But it's worth it.
It is.
I mean,
it is.
And especially when you get the photo that is so representative of the family, and I'm sure you do a bunch of different shots, like fun, crazy shots, and then everybody pose and smile and all the rest of it.
Yeah, and you do like always like just the classic, like let's just get everyone looking for one, and then whatever happens after. And sometimes you have toddlers that aren't cooperating, and like it is what it is, and this is the stage of life. And even when I go in for my own family photos, like my daughter's 2 this week, like when toddlers are done with a family photo, like it's over. Like we're not rallying them in. There's not enough snacks, bribery in the world to get them like to focus. So you just take photos of her being her at this age, and that's the photos we have, and I love them. And so that's my philosophy. Those are my philosophies with family photos now.
Okay, I love that.
Thank you.
That reminds me of photos with Santa Claus. So I remember my daughter took my granddaughter Lenny for photos, and Lenny had a beautiful outfit and she was ready to go. And then as soon as she saw Santa and Mrs. Claus, she was on all fours bawling, right?
Yeah.
And that's the photo we have.
Of course. Same. So I remember one with my son, and I remember like we were in a rush, obviously, and I think it was like after nap time, and like because I like doing the mall ones. My mom always took me to St. Vital Mall for Santa photos, and so that's like something I'm trying to do with my kids. But we got for our spot, and I like looked at the photo, and like I didn't bring like nice shoes. Like he's just wearing his like snow boots, and I'm like, oh, well, that's what it is.
Yep.
And like my daughter was born in November, so the first one with her, like she like looks like excuse me, she looks like she was sleeping, but she's like literally lying in Santa's arms like this, and it's like the most ridiculous photo. Like everyone has a good laugh over it, and so it's just this year will be better, I think. Maybe we'll see.
And it depends on what mood you catch her in. Is it after snacks and she's better? Is it before nap? Is it after nap? Yeah, it really just depends.
And it is, and so we just go with the flow.
And you know what? And you look back, and I mean, I look back at my pictures, with Santa Claus and my brother and I look, and it's like I have no idea what I was thinking during that time, what face I was making,
Yeah, but and that's the thing. Like a photo is just a moment in time, and so like if that's what the moment was or is, that's okay. And so I don't do overly polished photo shoots, and that's my philosophy in that.
Well. And I agree. And, and sometimes we're our worst critics. We look at a photo and it's like, oh, that looks terrible. I can't post that.
Yeah.
But
the amount of women who've said to me, oh, I'll book family photos when I lose those 10 pounds. And I'm like,
yeah, I know.
But I hate to say this, and I hate to use this as my like an added part of my life is really short. Yeah. Just do it now.
Just do it now.
Just do it now.
Because you might not do it.
You might not, and then there might not be time. And so it's just like, and that's really like so morbid to say, but I wouldn't say it if I hadn't experienced it more than once. And so, yeah, so it's just like, I just think book it now, like just do it.
Well, and
When you lose the 10 pounds, come back and do it again, like whatever.
right.
You know? Yeah.
Or why obsess about losing 10 pounds, you know? And I know we're so critical of ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, you look at yourself, and I look at photos of myself, and I want to cringe, and it's like, but then somebody else looking, and they don't see what I see.
Never.
They see, oh, your beautiful smile, your eyes, you know, whatever it
You're
is.
so happy with your family.
Exactly. You know, and really, and that's what they see. They don't see, it's like, oh, you know, hey, she should have lost 10 pounds.
Yeah, no one will think that. Like, no one. So yeah, exactly. And so it's something I'm always like hesitant to talk about because it does sound so like intense, but it is, again, it's something I've seen more than once. And so I think it's important. It's your family now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a connection that you and I have, you know, so Winnipeg is such a, 2 degrees of separation, and it really doesn't matter who you talk to, you find somebody in common. So first of all, the fact that, so your father-in-law,
Yes.
Tom,
Yep.
I danced with Tom
Yes.
when I was a teenager,
Yep.
which is probably 40 years ago, over 40 years.
That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
And so it's interesting. So when I met you, and then met your husband Chris, and then I just happened to have a conversation. It's like, oh, oh no, actually, you know what it was, Folklorama.
Yeah.
And I saw Tom, and I was like, hey Tom, how's it going? And I said, oh, by the way, my friend Janelle, and he's like, oh yeah, that's my daughter-in-law. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's so wild. It's like Winnipeg is always 2 degrees of separation.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And then the other connection that we have, so a really good friend of mine, Sharon O'Leary, she's your cousin.
She's my cousin. Yeah.
Yeah.
My first cousin. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So the creative gene runs in our family, and it's funny how I've noticed it like later in life, I guess. Like, when you're little, we're all I'm like the baby of the family, so Sharon's older than me, and her daughter and I are actually very close in age and grew up kind of like close. And so, but yeah, Sharon's like she's a wicked creative person.
Oh my
and
gosh.
So her daughter Sam is also a fantastic photographer, and so I'm so blessed to have the same bloodline as them.
And that's right, because I've had Sam do some photos for me as well, and your personalities are very similar.
We get that all the time.
I know.
People think we sound the same, and it's pretty funny.
Well, it's the family genes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you're both so creative and engaging and just fun to be with. And Sharon's the same way.
The same way. I'm taking art classes with Sharon right now, so it's every second Sunday. She teaches out of a studio in the Exchange, and it's like 3 hours of like just me and like art, which is, again, like I defined, like I said, that photography became kind of a job for me. So I defined Chris dance, Polish folk dances.
Right.
He has his outlet, and I needed mine, and so I went with Sharon to do art classes. It's been so good. It's been so good.
I know I've taken some classes with Sharon, but my problem is that I try too hard.
That's fair.
Sharon's like, just try something, and it's like, and then I take my time. It's got to make it perfect. And
the reason I got into this with Sharon is because she was hosting Mother's Day pop-up. So my mom was like, let's go do this with Sharon. And I said, okay. And it was just the 3 of us, actually. And my mom was painting. My mom's like, do you have a ruler? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, just go with the flow. So you're not alone in that at all.
And it's not so much that we're control freaks. It's just that we want that, we have this image in our mind of what we want it to look like. And unfortunately, it doesn't show that way on paper.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It stretches me, absolutely, and it's been a great blessing with great joy. So yeah. Small Winnipeg.
I'm going to try again. I know Sharon has offered me several options to do that. I was thinking actually taking Lenny one day, just 2 of us, and doing that.
Yeah, you should.
Yes.
I'm happy to plug her here. So yes,
right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's neat. It's a different and it's very laid back, which is nice too.
Yeah. I want to talk about something else that you're offering right now. So you're offering a Canva workshop. Now, you had mentioned that about 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago?
3 weeks ago.
3 weeks, okay. And where were you working at that time?
So I was working for the Archdiocese of Winnipeg, the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Winnipeg. So that is the like the bishop's office, I guess, for Winnipeg Catholics. And so I worked we have offices on Pembina, or they have offices on Pembina. I'm no longer in the we. But I worked there. I was their director of communications. And so I did that. I did that for 3 years. I started, there was a former director, and I worked under him to do their social media.
Okay.
Because and it was actually like they hired me just before COVID happened, and so it was like
okay.
wild timing, and everything went online. Mass, like you could live stream mass all of a sudden and all these things, and so it was really an interesting time. I did that for a couple of years. He stepped away, and then I applied for and got the director role. So I've worked in a faith-based organization for the last 5 years, or had, and so, but I wanted time with my kids while they're little. I wanted flexibility to like pick them up early and like have them at home, and like Roman's, my son is taking dance classes now, and like we have after school activities already, and so like it's a mad dash from like work, pick up, dinner, get to the activity, go to bed. And I just kind of like, while they're young and little, I want to be a little bit more flexible.
Of course.
But I still have this heart for the nonprofit and like specifically like faith-based organizations. And so I'm hosting a Canva workshop for those types of organizations, like any type of faith, any nonprofit, doesn't have to be faith-based, and to teach folks how to use Canva.
Wonderful.
In a very simple way. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what we need sometimes. Just give me the basics, right? Now, when is this workshop going to be held?
It's November 20th. It's at 2 p.m. local time.
Okay.
I did cater it to people who work in these organizations, and I've had a couple people say, "Are you going to have an evening one?" So I'm sure I will. So stay tuned
Possibly
for that.
in the new year,
Yeah, and maybe sooner. But we'll see how the first one goes, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, and it's you know what, I have. It's not that I have a ton of signups, but I don't know anyone who's signed up. So that's really neat. Like I advertised on LinkedIn and with there's a lot, like every city and province has like, 1 or 2 dioceses and so I've had different like signups and different organizations sign up. And so
well, that's kind of cool.
So exciting. Yeah. I'm nervous now, but I'm also, I'm confident that I know what I'm talking about in that realm. So, and the other wonderful thing Canva does is most nonprofits are eligible for their premium account for free.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah. So they're really great at working with, for sure, schools and nonprofits. And so I will be sharing all the benefits of having access to that.
We'll make sure to include your Instagram account on Instagram and LinkedIn, so that if somebody wants to sign up for the workshop,
Absolutely.
they can.
I love that. Yeah, I'm really excited for it. So, and that's the work I want to keep doing as well. So yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, what's next for you in terms of social media content, photography? Maybe is there something else that you've been, dying to try?
No. Nothing wild. No big plans. I went into this year like I went into 2024 with like a big laundry list of goals and dreams and things. And it's not that nothing came true. It was a big growth year, like a hard year, a learning year. I was on mat leave with my daughter and trying to build the social media thing and see if I could leave my job and like all these things. Never a good idea with like that postpartum brain, but I tried. And I remember like 2025 came and all the posts like, in December for vision boards and pick your word of the year and pick this and, intentions. And I was like, I am just like, I'm not doing any of it. And I went in with like I was back at work. I just kept doing my job and my kids and just put no pressure on myself. And then this has been the most transformative year I've had in a very long time. And so not that I'm like saying that's the answer, but like I'm just kind of seeing where things lead.
Okay.
I am a person of faith. I do believe that everything happens for a reason, and that we're part of like a bigger plan. And so I'm trusting in that, with also my own, like, you can't just sit and like wait for things to happen.
You have to actually make it happen.
Yeah, you have to make it happen. So, I'm talking to new social media clients, and I'm doing these workshops with nonprofits, and I'm still doing photos. And so we'll see, like I'm working, but we'll see where like things land officially. And I'm okay with that right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that, because it allows you to, first of all, be open to possibilities. And really, sometimes if we're so closed off, we're not seeing those opportunities that come up. And it's being open. And so you never know what happens around the corner. There could be a different direction for you. It could be maybe adding on to what you're already doing. But the beauty of it is that you're open to it and not putting pressure on yourself, which I think is really important, because we tend to do that a lot.
Yeah, and there's like, with good reason, we have bills to pay and we have kids and a mortgage, and my husband's also self-employed, and so it's like like I'm scared, like I'm scared shitless. I don't know if I could say that on here, but I'm scared.
Okay.
But you know, like it's also, there's also been like this overwhelming sense of peace that like something will happen. And so I know that like deep in my soul, and it's just time to follow my dreams and figure out what those are.
Yeah, and I believe that something wonderful is waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident. So yeah.
I'm confident as well.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, Janelle, for
Thank
being
you.
on and sharing your story about, you know, how you got started in photography and, you know, the social media and all the rest of it. And you've provided a lot of really good tips, especially for those of us that are not that good at social media.
It's like I said, it's a game, but it's, if you can have fun with it, then, and if you can't, then you can call me and I can help you have fun with it.
Perfect.
Thank you so much, Jenny.
You're welcome. Thank you, Janelle.
Thanks.
So this has been Coffee with Jenny B for the Multicultural channel. I'm your host, Jenny Sacco-Bak.